It's time for Cup of Rad, so let's fill your cup with rad pop culture vibes. And now your over-caffeinated hosts, Mike and Katie. Star Wars! We're talking about Star Wars! It's all about Star Wars in your ear holes. That's right, kids. I'm Mike, this is Cup of Rad, and
I'm Katie.
And we are talking about Star Wars.
That was like an epic start.
Right? We should always sing in the beginning. I was just channeling Bill Murray there for a moment.
Yeah, you could. Well, you've been walking around for the last few days just doing that.
Well, because I knew we were going to watch all the prequels.
Yes.
Oh, what did I just say?
Oh, snap.
Everyone was like, oh, they're talking about Star Wars finally. Yes. Oh, the prequels. Well, guess what? This is the prequels because this begins our lead up to the end of the Skywalker saga, which happens in December, and we need time.
Yeah, because let's be honest, like this was really hard just to fit in watching the prequels.
So,
because we got holidays and all that stuff coming up, so we have to plan ahead.
Well, this here is the end of September because then when it clicks over to October, it becomes Halloween. So I'm sorry, you won't get any Star Wars in October.
No.
You're only going to get
just
monsters and slashers and blood and guts and all the horrible things. That was my bellicose.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It even had like actions involved and everything.
So we're going to talk about the prequels today because we're going to start. Because George Lucas says when you watch the saga, you start at episode 1.
Makes sense, you know. I mean, we have the ability to watch them all the way through of the story-wise.
Yeah.
So why not?
So why go mismatched?
Yeah.
Let's go through it as we go. So I'm gonna Wayne's World you for a moment. Ready? Back in 1999. Everyone was all excited because George Lucas was making Star Wars. He was coming back with new adventures. So we were all like, woo, Star Wars.
The whole world was a, I don't know, some sort of excited word.
Was afoot with excitement. So, you know, I was in high school when it was coming out. It was very exciting. It came out in May. But before that, merch came out.
Oh, yes. Well, because we've learned Star Wars is like the number one like merch making machine.
Right? Go watch
right?
Go
the
watch
Toys That Made Us. Like,
you'll find out a lot on that one.
So they took full advantage of this time around too. The toys can happen again.
So toys came out and they came out months before the movie came out. And I remember, you know, because we only really had Walmart in our town, heard the toys were coming out and I raided my bank account, my piggy bank. You know, I was like, who cares about savings? Star Wars is back. And I ran to the store and I bought so much stuff, so much Lego and action figures. And because that when Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace came out, they had all the figures came with these little chips. Then you had to buy this chip reader. And then you put the chip on the reader and it looked like the little Jedi communicator. And then it would say things from the movie.
Oh, that's exciting.
And then like you could put it on like one of those like you put like dog tags on. You had this like ring of decoder chips.
Oh, nice.
And, you know, to the point where it was just so exciting. And like you knew nothing. You knew nothing about the characters really except for the names that you knew.
It's like, how could it not be awesome? It's
and
Star
you're
Wars.
Like, yeah, it's Star Wars. And you know, here's a horrible fact. I haven't bought his mom. There's no like, I don't even remember there being anything on there. Be like, this is Skywalker's mother. It was just like, oh, there's a Star Wars person and this and that. And then, you know, you had way too many toys and the Legos and you built and you had all these Gungans. You were like, Gungans, the next Ewoks. Because I like Ewoks. So I was excited. Right. And like, it was full on. So leading up, I got all these ships in my bedroom, all these toys, and I'm just like, Star Wars. I remember buying Maul's double-bladed saber.
Well, that you can't go wrong with that. It's
right?
a lightsaber.
And it was electronic, so it made the sounds not as cool as the kids have now. By all means, because now kids have $200 lightsabers that you know
light up and make
do everything. So, you know, as a teenager, the nerd side was strong with me. And so this might scare some people, but back in that time frame, you didn't get to pre-purchase your tickets. You had to go to the theater and wait. So luckily, living in a small enough town, there wasn't too many people in line, but our little tiny theater had the midnight showing, because, you know, back then it was midnight showing, not 6 p.m. on Thursday.
Yeah, exactly.
And we got in line and we waited and we waited after school.
I was going to say, it would have been the school.
Right after school, we went over and we were there, switching off to go eat all that good food from the A&W. And, you know, so then once it got time, and it sucked because it got to that point where everything was closed and they weren't letting anyone in the theater, right? So you're cold and you got to pee. And it's like Star Wars is happening and you're like, but I don't know what I gotta do.
The poor gas stations probably inundated with people.
No, they were turning people away.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Like no one could go. And so I'll tell you a story about my buddy. He had to go so bad. He went and he found a bush.
Of course.
But the funny thing of that is, because I'd gone with him because it was like the lookout field. But then I realized that the bush he found, he went on the other side. So the road didn't see him. But then I was like, hey, dude, the people that are watching their television in their house can see you. So, yeah, so we had to book it. So we got to see Star Wars.
So you made it in.
And our one friend wasn't into Star Wars at all, but he was just like happy to be there. And
you're just happy to be here, aren't you?
Right? And he fell asleep 5 minutes into the movie. Out. Snoring.
But I'm part of this.
So then we watched it and we saw it and we came out and we were like, huh. That was interesting. Because being teenagers, the kid aspect of it didn't really grasp us as much.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough to be like, I'm out. Star Wars is done for me. This is dead. I still had my moments where I really liked it. And that's what was exciting, right?
Yeah. Well, there was still
wasn't nearly.
There was still Jedi.
Yeah.
Sith,
so it wasn't nearly as like when I went home and saw all the stuff I bought. I wasn't so much like, yes. It was like the, oh, fart.
I have all this stuff.
And we've watched it. You and me have watched it many times. We've shown Kiddo before, but then this hit because 9 is hitting. So it's the whole RADnesia Star Wars edition. So we sat down this weekend to watch episode 1 with Kiddo because he couldn't remember them. Yeah,
we had showed all of them to him before, but you know, it's been so long and he's like, this is like a brand new thing to me. I don't remember this at all. So I had to make sure while you're watching, I wouldn't give spoilers too much.
You didn't want to put your own personal bias on it?
No. Thank you. School's really affecting you, isn't it?
So the title crawl hits. And right off the bat, it hits me again, those memories of that every time I watch it, when I see that opening title crawl, I have my like Homer Simpson moment. Aw, taxes, politics. Wait, this is supposed to be a space wizard show. I cannot not think that when I see those.
Yeah, because it doesn't look fun. There's not like a suspenseful battle. It's like, oh wow, like we're watching real life. How exciting,
right? So, rewatching it, what are your thoughts? Like, what comes to you about episode 1?
You know what? The more I watch it, the more forgiving I am overall of the story. I like episode 1 for what it is. I mean, I kind of wish Anakin was a little older and not so kiddish for it, but it is still weird, the story behind it. There's so much of it in mystery that very little happens about like you talked about the title crawl of all the stuff that is setting things up. You get very little information about it. And then, so it just kind of feels like there could have been more richness to the story itself. But, you know, I wish Darth Maul was in it more. I wish there would have been a little bit more of the because let's be honest, that's part of what we love about Star Wars is the lightsaber battles.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so like that part is amazing and everything. And there's some really great moments. And like, what's interesting, I thought this time around, kind of watching Qui-Gon with a different different lens and seeing how he kind of turned into the downfall, like super trustworthy of things. And you're like, really, dude? Why are you just
so blind to everything?
Everything,
right?
And it's just it's interesting. I think it's impressive actually that Obi-Wan was able to come out with so much clarity on the world and see things and be the power that he is. But maybe because he didn't have even more years with Qui-Gon, of being able to see that sort of stuff. But it was an interesting sense for the character. He didn't really fit with the rest of them, Well,
it was wild when I was watching it. I had that moment where I looked at it and I was like, damn, Qui-Gon's like dumb.
Right?
Like he's causing some problems.
Like he's never been my absolute favorite person.
But at the same time, you see it and you're just like, wait a minute, you're so blind to all these things, and maybe it comes from knowing everything so much you see it. But I was surprised to notice it this time.
Yeah.
And be like, dude,
like
even because like there's that moment where Obi-Wan's all like, hey, something feels wrong. Qui-Gon's like, stop looking at the future, fool.
Right? Stop. It was weird. It was like, stop trusting your emotions, but then feel your emotions and be connected. Well, you're like, dude, you're so conflicting.
But he says that to him, and then he comes back, and it was like, Obi-Wan's like, I don't trust his kid. Qui-Gon's like, I can feel it in my gut. Right? I'm training this kid.
Like, what really is you just want to be right, and you just want to call the shots. It was very much you're just a young Padawan, and I'm the master, and I know what I'm doing.
And I got a beard, and I got a ponytail.
Right? So it's like, I never felt really connected to him anyway, and it was sad when he died, but I felt more sad for Obi-Wan. But like this time around, I'm like, probably better off, because he can stop messing things up. Like, can you imagine if he had trained Anakin?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It could have gotten
really much worse.
Well, I don't know. Like, because like they tried to redeem, and we'll get into it later with it, but it's like at the same time I'm watching that, and it feels like he really turns out to be a bit of the villain of the story, because there's even that understanding where Yoda's, well, it happens later on too, I guess, but the understanding of that prophecy that someone's there to bring balance to the Force. And like I had my weird revelation this time watching it, and I was just like, wait a minute, he does bring balance to the Force.
And that changes everything.
Right?
And that's why, later on, as we said, I know it's going to start bleeding together because they're all kind of one, but Yoda says that the prophecy was misread.
Yeah, maybe prophecy was misread.
Prophecy was read correctly. They just cannot imagine the fact that less Jedi equals more balance. You can't have more Sith. You have to have an equal amount. That's the only way something is balanced. And they have completely now forgotten about the balance of the Force. They just see, they're on the right side. So then, like, when you look at Luke later on in episode 8 talking about how the Force, the Jedi had gotten essentially corrupted as well. And then you see that and you're like, they had come to the point where they thought they were the right side, so there should be more of them, and the Sith should be gone. Yeah. That's not
the eradication of something.
So, it was like mind-blowing change moment there. Like, wow, he really did. He is the chosen one.
So that's that idea of like being older and being able to see that and being like, oh, hot damn.
Right?
This is actually really good.
Yeah, and so then like you can really appreciate that story more. And I found that to be enjoyable aspect of things. Yes. And the underlying kind of, I don't know, I guess maybe the deeper meaning and deeper story and allegory that can be there for things. I started enjoying that more, I think.
Yeah. I agree with you, the fact that I wish that they had a better age recognition, because it's really weird that he is so young and she looks so old.
Well, because of being queen, she's supposed to be 14, he's supposed to be 9.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that kind of, but considering the fact that they actually do have a child playing him and they have a older teenager playing her. But because she's a queen, she acts like an adult. Yeah. So then she seems like she's at least 18. So then it's just really creepy. And it never, ever will stop being creepy to me. It just keeps getting worse.
Yeah, it seems off.
I think maybe as a mother, it's gotten even worse for me now.
Right?
Like,
you're like,
he's kiddo's age. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, how would you feel if a 14-year-old came up and were like, hey?
Right? And then all of a sudden now he's like, whatever, he finds some teenage girl and now becomes completely obsessed with it for the next 10 years. Yeah, I'm going to be concerned. Right. It's creepy.
So, but not on the parenting aspect.
Yeah, I know.
rewatching it, Jar Jar didn't bug me as much.
He bugged me at first.
Okay.
And then he got better as time went on. But there was a few times where I was like, seriously? Oh my goodness. But it was, I think when he was clumsy and causing problems, it was an issue. When he was clumsy and accidentally saving the day, that was funny.
Yeah.
And that was well intended and used. But before that, it was just like, oh God, you're so frustrating.
Right. Well, see, that was the weird thing for me is that all the things I remember being more like frustrated with, the only thing really was Jake Lloyd, the kid that played Anakin, and that this is tense.
Or yippee!
Many yippies.
You laughed every time he said that.
Because it's like, who actually says yippee? That when they're not goofing? I've never heard Kiddo go yippee at that age.
Yeah.
At that age.
And so he seemed even younger than they said he was supposed to be. And that's
something Kiddo did when he was like 4.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He did not seem like he was, because he's supposed to turn 10 in this movie.
Yeah. So it's that
which is a weird acknowledgement that was never even talked about at all. So why have him turn I don't know, whatever. Okay.
Because he's a Jedi, gonna be a Jedi, and Jedis don't celebrate their birthdays.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Because it's just another form of slavery.
What?
That's what it seems like.
Yeah, I know.
When you get older, crusty eyes, you see like how much you're like, yeah, I want to be a Jedi, and then you watch it, you're like, man, that Jedi Order is harsh. I'm gonna be a pug smuggler pirate guy instead.
Yeah,
you're free loving there. Woo!
This took a weird turn. Okay. Okay, so Jake, you didn't like the actor, like the little kid aspect. He was so little.
It felt like he was playing younger because
he was so immature.
Yeah,
right?
And that's also then a product of the time because it's 20 years old this year.
It is,
right? So, damn, I feel old.
I feel old, man.
But yeah, so
everything's over 20 years old. Anyway,
but I watch it and I have a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of great moments. There's a lot of great battles. The shining star in it, I think, still is Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
Okay, so this is literally my only, because I was a teenage girl at the time. That was why I was excited about this movie. You asked me why. What if I remembered anything for starting? I remembered Ewan McGregor being in it. It was like, I'm there. He is hot. So there you go.
And that's why Robert Pattinson is Batman.
Yep. I completely understand why. I'm not a fan of him, but that's exactly why they're doing that, right? I mean, that sells.
Yep.
So,
and
I mean, I had always been a Star Wars fan, but
yeah, I
wasn't a super, like nerd out about it at the time, right? But I'm like, yep, Ewan McGregor's in it. I'm there.
But that's the thing, right? Is that they find things and it's just the way the marketing machine works. You find out those stories that really Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman, they were put together because they tested well together. It wasn't that he was necessarily the best actor for the role. It just they were tested the best together.
And you know what's scary is I never even really saw good chemistry on screen with them. But then again, we're talking ahead now for movies. So.
Yeah, so you find out those little things. And you always find out stories after the fact.
Yeah.
Creators, they learn where they maybe had their missteps and all that. But standout scenes for me, of course, is going to be the finale, the battle between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Totally.
The Duel of the Fates is probably one of the best moments live action Star Wars has given us. Because that music...
that music is fantastic.
Is a beautiful piece of orchestrated score that John Williams has created. Yeah. Because it's unlike anything else we'd heard in Star Wars.
Yeah, it really stood out being different. I remember because I was in band at the time, and we got to it was like, let's try to play this. That's a really freaking hard song to play because it's so fast tempo, right? But it was so much fun. It was super cool. So I do remember that. We went into a whole Star Wars phase of playing Star Wars sheet music because how can you be in band and not play John Williams music? So
that's very true. That's very true. He is influential in so many ways and not just Star Wars.
Exactly. I mean, we had so much of this. You don't even realize how many soundtracks.
Maybe that's something that needs to be. Maybe we need to do a
John Williams. Yeah.
We could do just composers. We could do a few little here and there.
That would be fun. We have so many of them that we really. Oh yeah. Okay.
Something for the future.
Pin that idea up there.
But yeah, seeing those lightsaber battles, how fast they were and all that, it was just fantastic to see. So Kiddo. So we asked him. So what do you think of episode 1? That was fun. I liked it. Yeah. He's like, but Obi-Wan, he fell down a lot. But yeah, he liked the pod race scene.
Yes, he did.
You know, one thing is that I've seen that pod race scene so many times.
Yes.
Because one place that I worked, it was a TV shop, and that had amazing surround sound, and that was a good one to show off the surround sound. She'd be like, "Hey, you like Star Wars? Yeah, I do.
Watch this.
I'm going to show you something." And you throw that scene on and you can sell a surround sound system.
Yep.
And so it doesn't have the same appeal to me, even when it's on there, because I've watched it so many times and I know every beat. Like I literally can just hear the music, like, because there's no music until the last lap, right?
Yeah.
And then the dun, dun, and in my head I can instantly see the little capacitor thing rattling. And
you know exactly what's happening.
Boom, there it is.
Yeah.
You know, so
I still think it's funny that he's not just winning the race, he's the only one that finishes the race.
Right?
Like,
well, it must be then that's
a scary
hard sport, right?
Yeah.
And
like at some point, even if they don't die, their pod racer crashes, you know, and they don't make it. Like that's extreme,
right? That is your definition of extreme sports.
Yes.
Where you basically might die on the first lap, or for some of them, you could die before the race even fully starts because your pod explodes.
Yes, exactly. One time you might not ever even make it, right? So, do you remember if Kiddo had a reaction to the midichlorians comment and the?
No.
Okay, I don't remember that either. I don't think he realized what was happening with that.
No,
it's a lot. It's a big concept.
It was a weird concept, I think, to bring into Star Wars because it takes it into a more religious area.
Yeah.
And of course,
the idea of the midichlorians in general is a weird concept.
Well, because they don't really ever explain it.
No,
I think that's
they're just supposed to be the original microorganisms feel that hold. Like, it's like they're not. They shouldn't be organisms though. They should just be energy, right? Because it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be almost a life force idea, and they were supposed to be there before everything else.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's a weird philosophical
It's what also connects them then to the animals. So you can see that when we dive into the Rebels cartoon, which explains a bit more better.
Yeah.
And after watching Star Wars Rebels, there's a few things that I understood better
more about the prequel
in the second one.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to see, you know, how those play out. And yeah, they don't really ever explain it. And I think that was really sad. That's a one thing, though, that buzzed me about the prequels as a whole is that there is plot holes. And I'm not usually one to throw out like plot the buzz turn.
You don't like that. You know, but it really is that way.
And
that's why I say the first one, it feels like there's just so much that wasn't answered.
Yeah.
And it just feels like it was kind of empty.
They missed out on being able to explain some things that should have been explained. You know, on my fan fiction side, I always thought that Anakin should have been older.
Oh, I love Mike's fan fiction on this.
It should have been a shorter time frame between everything.
Yeah.
And I think Anakin, the pod racing thing, which is cool because it's a harken back to American Graffiti. That's really what George Lucas wanted to do. He wanted to create a sci-fi American Graffiti moment.
Oh, okay.
And you look at that, but I always thought it wouldn't have been cooler if he was pretty much on par age with Padme. Yeah. Right? And
because then it would have been very clear why he was too old to train for a Jedi.
Exactly.
Incredibly clear.
Exactly, right? And so the idea that I always thought would have been cool is if you pretty much play the movie out how it plays in the beginning. They hop on their ship and they almost like crash land on Tatooine. But they crash land into a fighter pit where you
like
have
Gladiator.
And Anakin's in there and he's being if he's still by Watto.
He could be a slave still.
Yeah,
fighting.
He's still a slave fighting, and you've got the creatures in the pit, and Jabba's up there laughing, and he has to save her, and it's that moment of connection right?
Because then the idea, I'm sorry, but any girl suddenly gets saved by a guy, you're going to swoon.
Yeah,
sorry. And it would have been so much easier for me to be like, oh, that's why she loves him.
Yeah, he's all ripped and muscly and scarred.
Been all
jacked. Chicks dig scars.
Right? That would have immediately been like, yep, I get it. I understand.
His flowing locks, and he's, hardened, and he's able to like use
because he would be a really awesome fighter. He would have had these powers, and that's why he would have been. It would have been the exact same concept of why he can pod race as to be like why he's the only human that can do this.
Yeah,
That would be really cool.
Yeah, so that idea that he, is able to use the Force without really thinking, he's grabbing weapons from people and
and and then if you were a Jedi that landed there and be like, holy moly,
he saves them basically, right?
And look what he can do. He obviously has a connection to the Force, and he's never been trained on it. Like, we need to bring him in and figure something out. It would have made so much more sense, and literally everything could have stayed the same.
Yep.
Just change that.
Yep, that Tatooine, just tighten it up a little bit and make it a little more action-y packed.
Yeah.
If he wanted to show pod racing, easily could have thrown it somewhere else within it.
He could have still pod raced when he was older.
Yeah. But that's my little fan fiction moment.
Yeah.
So my standout moment, though, when it came to the beginning of it all, is the fact that we got to have Samuel Jackson as a Jedi.
Yes.
And that is my happiest moment ever.
Yeah.
Because
not only as a Jedi, but then what is his lightsaber color?
Purple.
And that's just a perfect meeting,
right,
for Mike.
Being that my favorite color is purple, Samuel Jackson is like my Patronus.
Yes, we've decided that he's Patronus.
And because can't you just imagine that? Expecting Patronus, and he comes
Jackson
out,
pops out like, holy moly, that would be amazing. You never know what he's going to carry, a handgun or a lightsaber or...
Hold on to your butts.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Then we're crossing universes now.
Oh, and the
streams are crossing.
Streams are crossing.
Chaos. Cat and dogs.
Living together.
Hysteria.
Hysteria.
See, we're getting ready for Halloween. Can't you see it? You can feel it in this episode.
Yep.
But having him in there was just fantastic because I thought his presence as a Jedi was very strong.
I loved his look. Just like, he's so intense. He has his Sam Jackson look. Like, it's perfect.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. But yeah, rewatching it on the RADnesia front, I really enjoyed it more than I think I've ever watched it.
Right? Like, I actually had a lot of fun. I'm like, I wasn't like, oh, damn, we had to watch this again. Like, no, not at all. I'm the same gripes are there. Some of them are getting worse as we move on.
Jar Jar.
No, even that one, it let go. It's mainly, it's the age and then leading up into the romance of Padme and Anakin. Other than that, I'm actually really enjoying it. Jar Jar irritated me less than he has in the past.
Oh, okay.
I'm letting go of that, which is a nice thing. So, but I mean, I guess it's nice to see though that even though I remember being irritated even when we were watching some of the movie though, the overall feeling I got when it was over, it wasn't like, oh, thank God it's done.
Yeah.
I still remember, because lately some of the movies we have watched, it's the, oh, thank God it's done.
Yeah.
Can I go and sell this disc now?
Yeah, which was really refreshing,
This is like, no, I'm really excited for this. I'm excited to keep watching it, and I'm excited to see it all put together, and I'm still proud to own this disc.
Yeah.
And that's a step, so that's good.
Star Wars. We're talking about episode 2. Attack of the Clones. It's episode 2.
Oh, nice.
That's
fantastic.
I thought, we don't want to get flagged for music because that would be our luck, because Disney gets pretty
intense.
Cutthroat.
Yeah. You know what? This title, this time around, can you explain to me why it's called Attack of the Clones?
They attack.
Sure.
When clones attack. It literally they attack at the end.
Yeah.
I guess. But they don't. They come in to rescue.
Yeah, they don't attack. There is no war. They rescue.
So, I guess a rescue of the clones doesn't sound as...
No, then I don't know.
Okay, so...
Enter the clones. That would have been cooler.
So, yeah. I don't really remember much from the past of this movie, except for that was one of the ones that you and me, I abandoned my friends. I was like, you guys are smelly. Girls rule. I'm going to go off with my,
Really? We saw it together?
Yeah. Metrotown. Front row.
Oh, when I was visiting up here at some point. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't remember.
Yeah. Well, it's not been that long.
Yeah. Okay.
But Attack of the Clones, it has its moments. It has its moments, and then it has its moments where you want to bang your head into a table.
Yep, Anakin. So
there's my remembrance of it from the past.
Yeah.
And now we'll skip forward to now when we RADnesia Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
So we
Enter the Clones. I'm going to change the name now. It's no longer Attack of the Clones because it doesn't make sense.
So I'm just going to start here with the fact that I never read a whole lot of the extended universe. So in my mind, I always thought the Clone Wars was like them fighting clones. And when I think of clones, I think of like, suddenly there's like multiple Obi-Wans. Oh my God. So
Yeah,
when
right.
the Clone War Attack of the Clones happened and it turned out to be just a singular clone army, I was a little disappointed
Yeah.
because it was kind of like, well, hold up, like, really? They're just stormtroopers because really with their helmet on, you wouldn't even know they're clones.
Yeah, exactly.
So really it should just be Attack of the Disposable Warriors.
Enter the disposable warriors. They have not yet attacked. They've only rescued.
True.
So
There are some amazing scenes in the movie.
yeah. Wow, you know what I'm thinking about now that we've just watched them all? Like, a lot happens in that movie. So much, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot does happen. But at the same time, right now, I'm having a really hard time remembering it. We only watched it yesterday.
Well, the concept of, because they all kind of blur together because, as I say, they smushed so much of it in there, right?
Yeah.
And they never really fleshed out the details
Between it. Because now we've jumped ahead 10 years.
Okay,
Right.
So I'm just going to get this out of the way.
Cup of rage.
My number one gripe from here to this, the third movie there, Anakin and Padme's relationship drives me up the freaking wall. I don't understand it. It makes me angry. It's weird and creepy how obsessed he is with her, and that it starts from the very beginning where she's like, don't look at me like this, you're a little boy in my eyes, to like 2 days later, suddenly I'm madly in love with you, and this has been killing me every
now.
time that you come back now, and I just cannot believe that I... Like, literally, okay, so for him, he has been able to imagine her as a teenage girl, at least, in his fantasies here. She has only known him as a small child.
But then he got hunky.
Not really.
Well,
So then, okay, he's better looking, but still.
from a little boy, he got hunky.
Okay, you're right. But, but then she acts as if, like, well, he came back into my life and now this has just been killing me that I haven't had you. And it's like, it went from like, don't touch me, this is horrible, we can't do this is awful, to I'm madly in love with you and I'm willing to sacrifice and have a secret relationship and I'm going to marry you. And
Cup of rage.
I'm so irritated with it. And you know what?
Remember, this is supposed to be safe for work.
I know, and I'm watching my language. Aren't you proud of me? Like, I am watching my language and it's taking all of my
Agrisuko
power.
over here right now.
I know, right? I need my death metal. Like, there's flames shooting up behind me. Right?
Star Wars is dead. Padme and Anakin are cool.
So, I know, even lately, I've been much more forgiving on some aspects for romance. I'm like, oh, it's so cute, sweet. No, there is nothing sweet about this. So, I'm just going to get that out of the way, and then we can talk positively about the rest of it. So, there you go.
So we...
Back to Cup of Rad.
So the opening scene is pretty awesome when they're having to chase the bounty hunter through the streets of Coruscant.
Yes.
Now, the funny thing was, because Kiddo goes ahead and he's like, he loves... That was ironic. That's his jam now. Or everything, right? And so he's watching it and he's like, well, isn't that ironic that he just didn't happen to hit anything and landed perfectly on that speeder?
Yes.
Right? So...
He's magic. That's why.
They're magic space wizards.
Magic space wizard. But he was still fascinated. Like, he cannot get over the concept that Coruscant is a giant city and as a planet. Like, it's one giant city. He's like, how is it a giant city? Like, I don't understand it. He's like super concerned how it could possibly be a giant city.
Right? It's interesting to see that and the worry. Like, that's where his focus was on the whole thing.
It's
like,
quite funny.
But you gotta love Obi-Wan's flowing locks.
Oh, yeah. He's super fantastic.
Right? Yeah. So there is something, too, I realized in the movie. The hairstyle changes, and I never really even paid attention to it till now, but we'll talk about it in the next one. But you cut out anything with Padme and Anakin, and I like the movie.
Yeah.
Padme and Obi-Wan, I still like.
Yeah.
But it was when they got together, and it was the swirling, romantic music, and like you just said, it was just that.
Well, you know what? I mean, Anakin itself, too, he was annoying but I mean, I'm becoming more forgiving for it because I know the path that he's on, and I can see, I guess maybe some of my frustration is the fact that, you see how he is, and you know what he becomes, and you see all those red flags, and then you wonder why everyone else around him were so completely blind to what the problems that were happening with it, right?
It's because you know what he becomes.
I know.
And they didn't in the moment.
I know, and I think that's part of it. I'm trying to like recognize like, why am I so mad about how he is? But all of the way he acts makes sense for the path that he is on.
Yeah.
And where he has the experiences that he has and the character that he really is.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so I'm more forgiving about it, but it just, and I understand the point that the romance plays in his character, the concept of, you know, and the reasoning why they say that Jedis are not supposed to be attached and married and loved, because it creates a relationship of something that's a different feel that's very hard to let go. It would take someone very special to be able to say have a marriage and still be able to deal with the acceptance of a possible loss and not have that, you know, need to hold on to things, right? And so I get the role that it plays. I wish that it had been done in a better way. And it's not so much that I'm mad that they had a relationship. I'm just mad on the execution of it, right?
Well, it shows that there was too much story for such little time.
Exactly.
Right.
And so that's why if they had started, you know, when he was older, I think it would have actually helped a little bit more. They would have been able to explain their relationship much easier and much more realistic feeling, and kind of play off the lust more of it, of the, you know, kind of sweeping up into the saving aspect, because I can totally get behind and understand the concept of lust and then thinking that it's deeper love than it is. And then that and for him, you know, being more obsessed and, you know, wanting something. You know, he had went from not having anything growing up to having something, and he would have wanted to hold on to it. And I understand all of that. And I get where they're going with the dark side. You can see the path clearly in front of him. And I think I'm becoming more appreciative of it. And I think that irritation is just like sadness that he's in such a horrible place, that he's getting torn in all these different directions. And then those people that are there, you know, Palpatine just completely, every single time he talks to him, you see the manipulation and you see the thoughts that he's putting in of how he's twisting him around. Right?
You're blending the two together right now.
I know I am.
That's fantastic.
We literally watched them back to back, so you can't blame me.
No. No, I understand what you're saying. One thing I noticed more on this watch too was the fact that you saw more from Yoda's standpoint.
Yes.
Where he was too old from the first one. Because you're like, he looks pretty much the same age as all the ones they're trying to train.
You're like, oh, no, yeah,
but it's because they had them even younger.
Yes.
Right? So then when you go into more of the mythology of Star Wars and you find out that, like,
they're taken from...
Yeah, well, but even the Empire then starts taking kids in Rebels. It talks about how they took kids to become stormtroopers right off the bat.
Yeah.
And you're like, they're just following the same process.
They just program children, and the earlier you can get them programmed to not be attached to things or to think this is a normal life. And that's with the Jedis. If they think that it's a normal place, he had too long of living with some freedom of a family, right?
Yeah, because his slave times didn't seem that slave timey.
No, they seem pretty okay.
Yeah. But you see that, and you see that, yeah, okay, this is why they're in where they are with his emotions and his anger, and he can't handle it because he wants more to it because he didn't have enough time with enough guidance.
Yes. Well, and even the concept, you know, he gets so frustrated with Obi-Wan not accepting him and not thinking that he's, you know, is powerful and strong enough and not trusting him. And yet he's constantly putting himself and making choices that are making Obi-Wan not trust him. But I think that that point though, that he wasn't indoctrinated early enough. And it shows then some of the downfalls of the Jedi aspect as well, though, that when you are trying to create and morph someone into something, that you do need a younger, and it is still just another
cult,
right? Where you need them to think a certain way. And it was just the concept that because he was so powerful, and he just didn't have the ability to trust the system, feel like they wanted the Jedis to do, just like, you know, have the patience and the allegiance to the way that it's supposed to be concept, right? And that's where all of that problem was, of him being too old, right?
Yeah. So we got to see Obi-Wan. He goes to go find about these clones because they're all like, what? There's clones? What?
Right.
And he goes sees this guy called Dax. And what I was thinking was Disney totally missed out on not making multiple planets for their theme parks, because seeing that diner again, I was just like, you imagine how cool that'd be to walk in and giant animatronic Dax being like, hey everybody,
yeah, that would
right, and the robot waitresses and all that.
Yep.
Like, I'm just sitting there going, why is that not in a theme park?
Yep.
take me to Coruscant, transform Tomorrowland into Coruscant, or build me an entire Star Wars theme park where I can go to every planet that is crucial.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fantastic? You can go to Tatooine and that would be really cool.
Who wants to go to Tatooine? I don't sand
is coarse and it gets everywhere.
And you gotta kill Tusken Raiders out of anger.
Yep.
So Obi-Wan finds out he's supposed to go to Kamino. Kamino is a planet
full of really cool aliens.
Yeah, they look like your stereotypical aliens that have been stretched.
Yes, right? They're all shiny.
Right? And they are cloners.
It's a giant ocean planet.
Yeah.
Looks like, right?
So they've made this giant army, and Obi-Wan's like, well, what do you mean? And they're like, oh yeah, that's for the Jedi, and la 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 la. And you get to meet Jango Fett, who is Boba Fett's father clone.
Yes.
Right? Which is a weird twist. Everyone's always wanted to know more about Boba Fett, and now it's like he's just a clone that wasn't aged or rapidly changed or anything like that, which is pretty trippy.
Yeah.
When we get to get that really awesome battle in the rain with Obi-Wan and Jango as they fight it out as Jango's trying to get away.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to see. One thing I really commend this prequel trilogy for was getting to see the Jedi not just use their lightsabers.
Yes. Actually using other fighting methods.
Yeah.
Right?
Obi-Wan kicks and flails about and all that kind of stuff. And that's always something whenever me and Kiddo will wrestle or lightsaber battle. I always throw in a punch or a kick to throw him off. Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's always something I wanted to see. And now rewatching, I'm like, wait a minute, they did do that back then. How cool is that?
So I am actually a Jedi properly. Okay.
Yeah. So that was really fun to see. Skip ahead, we get through all the gooey romance, and you get to Tatooine and find out that Anakin's mother has been taken by Tusken Raiders.
I still don't understand why they took her. When Anakin finds her all tied up, what was the point? Were they going to eat her? Because otherwise, then what is the issue?
Put some lotion on the skin.
Thank you. They aren't holding her hostage for anything. Why did they take her? That bothers me. If I don't know why I need an explanation.
I guess that's one of those moments where we get to use our imagination.
I guess he just said they're supposed to be evil.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Just
all we've ever seen is they shoot at pod racers and they go.
And they shoot they pump their staff in the air and ride banthas. Yeah.
Really, all they misunderstood, and they just want to dance. And that's what that is all about.
It's just a dance party.
And they just wanted to dance in the desert. And these guys at their moisture farms were like, you can't dance. And they're like, but I want to dance, Dad. And
I love this. I love where this is going.
And so then they're like, we're going to take your woman. Because
you won't let us dance.
And we're going to teach her to dance. And then Anakin shows up and be like, you guys can't dance with my mom. And he kills them all. And they're all like, oh, but we wanted to dance as they die.
Wow. And now we know.
See, fan fiction is fun.
Fan fiction is great. And now that is the way it's supposed to be, right?
See, they were the victim.
Yeah.
Because they just wanted to dance.
They just wanted to dance. Okay.
So no one knows. It hasn't ever been explained. So you got to make it your own thing.
Random thought here. One thing I loved was Padme's outfit throughout this whole movie. I loved her fashion. I I was super attached to all of them. Every single time this time, I was like, oh my God, I want her outfit.
Yeah.
I always felt a lot of that way, but now I can imagine myself actually wearing them. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I want this outfit. I want this outfit. Yeah. I want all of her clothes.
Okay.
So
you're going to live like a Nabooian?
Nabooian? Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. Nabooian?
Yeah. I'm going to become a Nabooian senator.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. So anyway, Anakin Dangry.
Hey, slayed a whole bunch of Tusken Raiders, even the children.
Yeah.
Because they get a bad rap, right? Later on, they get it again from the Empire. So.
Yeah, but
then they head off to Geonosis.
See, they're we're having to recount the story because we're trying to remember everything that actually happened.
Yeah, there's a lot happens.
There's so much of it, all the different planets,
go to
systems.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden they're now on here and the giant bug aliens, and I like the gladiator pit battle.
Yeah. Well, because that's where we're going right into the gladiator pit. Because they get there, and then C-3PO and R2 are on their own. And I remember, that was something I remember from the movie. And when we saw it originally, when R2 fires up his rockets, the entire theater was just like, yeah, R2. right? Which was
Well, see, okay, then we throw in Count Dooku. Well, all of a sudden it was like, oh, there's this really powerful guy
that also used to be a Jedi. That's now.
And it's like, oh, by the way, just accept that. And I'm just like, what? That came out of left field. Like, now he's also trained in the Sith arts, and like, you know, if there was this really powerful Jedi that just suddenly defected and disappeared, like, why does the Jedi Council not speak of that at all? Like, how did you not know about this?
Yeah.
You know, if you suddenly had a Jedi that just disappeared, that you never said was dead, like, I don't know, that really bothered me too, because I think that was like a weird waste, so...
Well, it feels like there should have been more to everything, right?
Yeah, and you know, and I know that you start seeing, because Palpatine is just playing everyone from every angle, and it's the idea that he's in it for himself, and he's just manipulating everyone, right?
Yeah. But, so you get the scene where, so this is what I thought was hilarious, was, so you see 3PO lose his head and it gets swapped on a battle droid's body, right? And then we get those scenes where they're going to go out into the gladiator pit and they're kissing. And
so what did Kiddo think?
He goes, I really wonder what C-3PO is up to right now.
Like, throughout the whole, like, confession of their love type thing. Yeah. It's like, no, what about the droid?
Yeah, what happened to 3PO? Because he's on a different body and he's got a different head.
Yeah.
Why do I got to see this?
Okay, so, you know, Kiddo asked about this, and I tried to explain it, and then I realized that it didn't make any sense. So why is C-3PO's body marching with everyone, and yet his head knows what's going on, then it's not in the right place? So why is his body marching with all the droids? Like, why? What happened there?
Comedy.
Okay, enough said.
It's just a throwaway joke.
Yeah, and it just really...
Die, Jedi dogs! What am I doing? Oh! Right? Oh, you know, that was something I wondered. And please comment if you can tell me this. But I always thought it was weird that when 3PO gets knocked off, he's able to grab and hold on to things and, like, physically hold on to things. I didn't think he actually was physically that strong to be able to hold on to zipping platforms and whatnot.
To have a grip strength of some sort.
Yeah, because they always show him so weak. Like, he falls over so easily, and his arms are always so statically. Like, I didn't think that he could actually physically
because
hold his weight.
To dexterity, like, unless he has, like, magnetic fingertips.
Yeah, so definitely please comment and let us know
theory
what that's
on
about.
That idea.
Yeah, because... It was
movie
a weird
magic
moment.
Just now has to happen, right? Yeah.
Right? It just fit the story.
Now who's blending? That was in episode 3, wasn't it? When you questioned that?
No, that was episode 2.
Oh.
That's
when they're zipping around for things?
When he falls off the platform where R2 knocks him off.
Oh, yeah, that one.
He hits the thing and then he holds on and he's like, oh, what am I doing? And
okay, yeah, you're right.
In the smelting factory.
In the smelting. The smelting?
Smelting.
Smelting? It's not schmelting.
I like schmelting. It's more fantastic. Smelting.
Okay, schmelting is kind of
Schmelting. Smelting.
Okay, so one thing I find is funny too, because I see it first in that scene. We played the Lego video game so much. And when they go into the smelting factory there, like, all I see is flashbacks of the Lego video game and having to run around.
Yeah, you were having total recall there.
Super
it was tripping
flashback.
You out.
And every single time. And there's these certain scenes throughout the episodes that I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember this
Lego video
from
game.
the Lego video game. So it's quite funny. But I really like the pit battle.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny, honestly. This time around, I found myself being like, Padme's really BA. Because she's in there, like, breaking herself out of the handcuffs and climbing up the column, and the two Jedis are like, yeah, we're stuck here. Awesome. And she's just taking care of business. Like, and she survives somehow amongst all this giant barrage of laser beams. She doesn't get shot. Pew, pew, pew. And these Jedis are dying who have a lightsaber shield and the ability to be able to sense
she's
stuff.
That awesome, and she's a lead character.
I know, right?
Random
but I was like,
Jedi with basic blue or green lightsaber.
It's not important. I understand. But I was
fodder.
I found it quite impressive. I was like, before, I've never really had like a connection of like, Padme's awesome. Like, whatever.
No, you know what I thought was impressive was the giant cat rat was able to slash her on the back and tear off a piece of her shirt as a complete ring off of her body.
Right? Like it's absolutely perfect.
Like that was skill.
I know, right?
Like that dude should be like a sushi chef or something. Just like, wacha.
Well, because I was reading in trivia there that because Lucas basically wanted to show the increased romance, and he wanted her to be more sensual in her clothing and sultry. So it was the concept that she was basically needed to start showing more skin to show that she was in a relationship.
Huh.
So he wanted her to start doing that. So
weird.
That is why, as you notice, though, as
her
Queen,
leather outfit was pretty wild.
Yeah, as Queen, her outfits were very covered up. Of course, they were also based on like actual royalty from the past, Russian and I can't remember then the other one, and there was Mongolian. That's what it was. So a lot of like the traditional garbs from them, but then. When she switches up a senator, she wears a lot less clothing. No matter what planet she's on, she seems to start showing more skin as time goes on. So
that's interesting.
But yeah. But I loved all of it. I want all of her fashion.
Well, then clear out your closet, buy some patterns, and let's start making you some Nabooian fashion.
That's what I'm going to rock now.
Yeah.
I don't think half the people that I work with would even be surprised if I walked in with something like that. They're like, oh, what's Katie wearing today?
Well, her universe does have a lot. So.
Well, her universe does have a dress inspired by the sunset looking one that she wears on Naboo when they first declare their love to each other in the lake area there. It's like purple and yellow and pink.
Could you get over the fact that...
I'm trying to because the dress is gorgeous. So, whatever. But yeah.
Whatever.
But the battle's
pretty awesome, and my man gets to step in and say, "This part is over." Like, how awesome is that? And we get Mace Windu jumps in there with his purple lightsaber. He's all like, "Whatcha?" And he's just knocking bolts back and forth, and I'm all excited because getting to see Sam Jackson kick some butt,
right?
And I love how he just takes care of business with Django. Yeah. You know, like
he's not even questioning. It's just like, no, we're done.
Yeah. And it was just, I love that. And then the Yoda shows up with there's the clones. They attack the Genoans and the battle droids. They
rescued them. Okay, they attacked and ended the battle. That was one of those moments of spoilers there where I almost was like, oh yeah, I remember Yoda shows up with the clones. I was like, oh my gosh, don't say anything.
Oh, for Kiddo?
Yeah, I was like, he doesn't remember. I don't think he remembers. And I almost just said it out loud. I was like, oh, don't be that person. No, just keep it to yourself, Katie.
So then Anakin and Obi-Wan go up against Count Dooku.
Yes.
And or Lord Trianus or whatever you want to call him. They call him Count Dooku though. That's what. And
then it's like, because then you add the Sith names to it, and I remember being very frustrated when I was younger and being like, I cannot keep all of them straight.
Yeah.
Just the only ones that I knew was Palpatine and Vader, and then it's like then you add all these.
That's all that matters. Because nothing else matters.
So yeah, so you get to see Yoda actually. I'm just kidding. Yoda fight, which was really cool.
I think that is
one of my
probably
favorite characters from the prequel. Is Yoda?
That's probably one of the best scenes of Attack of the Clones.
Rescue the space. What?
Rescue the space people. Rescue of the armored space people for the space wizards.
That's names.
This podcast has been brought to you by Pumpkin Spice Lattes.
Oh, we're just gonna call it episode 2. How about that? So yeah, that was definitely one of the best.
Well, so much of it, like, okay, I love it, but then there's those moments where I'm like, what? Because like there's so much epicness to it when he grabs the lightning, he throws it back and all that, and then that like cowboy-esque like whoo, throwback of his and grabs his lightsaber.
You know what's great? He doesn't grab it. That's what's
awesome. Floats over. Sorry.
It floats over, and I was just like, oh, that is amazing.
Yeah,
I was so like overwhelmingly excited about that. So
that happens, but the thing that is a little over the top is how much he spins.
Oh yeah,
like
it's fantastic.
He's like a bouncy ball. Like if you took a bouncy ball in a square room, and just chucked it.
I've always seen it like that. Like he just bounces off the wall, and I always thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it's just like
all of a sudden he goes from this frail, I'm with a cane, I can barely move, to flinging around, and it's magical. Sorry.
See, there's something else that's magical that bounces around. That's full of magic and mystery.
It's part of their history.
along with the secret.
Of gummy bear juice.
Their legend is growing. They take pride in knowing. They fight for what's right. He just needed a swig of gummy berries, and he was just like at the races.
That is a whole nother feeling on this movie now, and I love it even more.
Yoda is secretly a gummy bear.
Secretly a gummy bear. Mind blown.
Yep.
Okay, now that we've solved that mystery.
Yeah, because I totally just called Jordan. He was like, yeah, he's really
actually a gummy bear. Like, I've been confirmed. That's fantastic. Breaking news.
But with that, yeah. Clickbait. George Lucas says Yoda's a gummy bear.
Yep.
Find out now and find out here in Cup of Rad.
Okay, so your one complaint about this battle.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so.
Oh, there's more.
No.
Okay.
The bouncing around kind of gets to me a little bit.
No, it's fantastic and magical.
It's like seriously. But so Yoda goes to pick up the column that's falling on Obi-Wan and Anakin, and then he pushes it away. And I understand pushing is easier than pulling, but like, why didn't he just like throw it at Dooku's ship?
Yeah, you were already putting the effort into force moving it.
Just throw it. Did not gingerly push.
Yeah.
But what did you say when you were watching it? So Toy Traders, if you're listening.
Oh, immediately I was like, I need that hot toy.
Because that's coming out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I need Gummy Bear Yoda hot toy. Which that will be his affectionate name. Is Gummy Bear Yoda.
Because that would be amazing. And that hot toy looks fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that it's got a little magnetic lightsaber holder, too.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to hit up Toy Traders, hopefully, for that.
Yes, definitely. I know you've already started creating your list.
My wish list?
Prequel hot toys.
I've always wanted to have key moments from there. Like, I didn't want to get everybody, but like... From the entire saga.
I want a Ewan McGregor hot toy.
So, they have, and that's what we're going to roll into, next when we talk about the next one.
I know.
So, what is your all feeling, though, on...
the insanity that is episode 2, because I cannot believe that I felt like we just talked about, 3 movies, but it was actually just 1. Overall, I enjoyed it. Like, it's just... I'm still positive. I'm still pumped. It's not like, oh my God. Really, literally, my only complaint is the romance, the weird relationship. That was my downfall.
Okay.
What about you?
Cut out the romance, and it was an epic movie.
There you go. See?
So
Sam Jackson was in it, and
yeah, you could have just shown me that scene. Yeah. I would have gone. I would have. He could have
been the council himself, and just like, bam.
Yeah, no, Yoda and Sam are the council. No one else is needed.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe Kit Fisto because he's weird, but.
Yeah, he's got cool head things. That is pretty awesome. But anyway, so
Star Wars. We're talking about Star Wars. It's Revenge of the Sith time here on Cup of Red.
That's fantastic.
So Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Episode 3.
Episode 3.
The final of the prequel trilogy. The transformation into Vader.
Yes. You know what, honestly, I think this was always my favorite one out of the 3 of them, only because there's like, you actually got answers and conclusions and changes for things. I think I realized how much I liked Anakin when he finally just committed and just moved to the dark side.
That's like the end of the movie.
I know, but these are my first thoughts. But the concept that he stopped doubting himself, he stopped questioning, it's just like he just owned and was like, yep, this is me.
Yeah.
And that's my initial thoughts of the movie.
Well, going back to when it came out and all that, I remember it just being amazing. Yeah, I liked it. My only thing that it still bothered me between the two is that we never actually got to see the Clone Wars.
We never got to see the Attack of the Clones.
Now, I know there is a cartoon. It came out, but it's that idea that I wanted to see that in live action form. Yeah. I wanted to see the Clone Wars. I wanted to see General Kenobi and Anakin fighting in the Clone Wars in live action. Yeah. Well, as much as live action as we got, because it pretty much is a cartoon, just photorealistic.
All the clone troopers are so CG. Oh my goodness. They're all like spindly and rubbery, like when they move.
But yeah, I enjoy it. The opening is fantastic with the ship and all that.
Again, another flashback to Lego video game. I remember that horrible level.
And it really made you like Anakin more than you did
very much so
in the last one.
Yeah, you could feel their relationship, and they were actually becoming a team, and it was like, oh yeah, this is awesome.
So the thing that I think was weird, especially on our RADnesia watch of the movie, was the fact that Obi-Wan is very he's like, yeah, you did awesome. You did good job, buddy. Boom, boom. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Anakin's just like, Obi-Wan betrayed me and he's horrible and I hate his guts.
Yeah, he doesn't trust me.
Yeah. And then he was just like,
this is the point, though, when, as you had said earlier, that I mentioned it too early, was Palpatine just right in there. And it's just like everything he has to say to him, you're just like, don't listen. Right. Everything is manipulative and horrible. And he's just
so back and forth. And
it's so
just
sad.
Like, he's just sitting there whispering in his ear like this. And like, hey, guess what? The Sith side rules. Jedi suck.
Sith rules.
Right. And you're just like, dude.
Yeah.
But they do help turn him by being so manipulative themselves by saying, hey, guess what?
Yeah,
you're on the council. Can you spy on your buddy for us?
Yeah, you saw that and you're like, Mace. You don't realize what you have just done. Well, you know what?
Obi-Wan could have just used more active listening.
Nice. Teacher Mike over here.
And just been able to maybe question Anakin a bit and be like, hey, buddy, let's go for coffee. And be like, sup, dude?
Yeah.
How are things going today? And Anakin would have been like, oh, Obi-Wan, I was just hanging out with Palpatine, man. And he was all like, guess what? We got clones and we're going to like keep killing things because the Republic rules. But like, oh, really? Sip, 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 sip. How's it make you feel? Right. And
yeah. This is fantastic.
Worst fan fiction. Just sitting in the diner having coffee.
I don't know. Maybe the universe would have been different if Obi-Wan had just active listened with him, right?
Right. Communication.
Just spend some time.
Quality time.
Yes.
But
and the council was just like, no, it's my way.
Right. It really showed how bad the Jedi had gotten and how
well, both sides. They're super corrupt on both sides, quite honestly. It's just like Palpatine had said, though. Both sides, you have power, you're afraid to lose it.
Isn't it scary, though, of how, like, truthful Palpatine is, though?
Right? Everything he says, you're like, oh my god, he's totally right.
Right? You're like, damn, no wonder you have a silver tongue, bro.
Right? Like, everything you speak is true. You're not actually lying. He's manipulating him when Anakin is still there. Of course, obviously, he's lying about the Jedi having a threat, a plot to overthrow them and take over the Republic.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, though, they were saying if he doesn't give up his power, we'll have to run the Senate and we'll have to do all this sort of stuff. So it's like, in a weird, twisted way, he's telling you the truth.
Yeah.
But then when he starts talking about the Jedi and the Sith and everything, all of it is real. And it's like, it is all good and bad. It is still a perspective, right? And it's just like, that's weird gray area. And you know that it's not right because it's still ruled by anger and greed and hate. And it still allows killing and, just no check of your emotions. And so, yes, of course, I do still believe that Jedi are on a brighter path, but there is definitely still problems there. And that's the whole point of the Chosen One, though.
Yeah.
There was too much of that. Yeah. They had become unchecked. Yeah. And that's the reality, is that the whole point of balance is good and bad not being too much of one or the other. Yeah. So.
Well, there's one thing too. They tease that he talks about Darth Plagueis being able to create life through midichlorians. So is that the tease of like, did he create life? Is Anakin created from Darth Plagueis?
I was wondering the exact same thing.
Because like that's where I was confused.
Because as soon as he said that, I'm like, well, then maybe he created Anakin.
Yeah. So like. The idea, though, is that I don't want to get too deep into the expanded universe because, of course, when Disney bought it, they scrapped the expanded universe and recreated their own. So then it's like that confusion of what's there, right?
Yeah.
So, and even Palpatine talks about being able to cheat death and all that. And you're like...
How old is Palpatine?
That's what I want to know. Because I always thought that Palpatine was supposed to be Plagueis' apprentice.
Yeah, that's what he sounds like when he talks about it. Yeah. When he tells the story of Plagueis, he has that glimmer in his eyes like, yes, I did this.
Yeah, like,
he totally
killed him in his sleep.
Yeah, he totally looks like he is the one that he knows this firsthand because, quite honestly, I mean, we learned in Rebels about like the temples and the Horcruxes and everything, so we know that there is...
Holocrons? I said
Horcruxes. Holy cool. Wrong. It was close. What is it called?
Holocrons.
Holocrons. Okay, there we go. It was similar. I'm going to call them Jet Sith Horcruxes. But that there is no like archive similar to the Jedis have.
Yeah.
They're kind of more hidden in ideas. So it's like, to me, it seems more like at that time he would have had to know it firsthand because there's so few Siths that they have to kind of pass them on individually. They're not a collective knowledge that's sitting out there, right?
Yeah, there's so much that's shrouded in secrecy between it unless you go on different types of expanding universe.
Right, and that's why I really like Rebels, was being able, it shed more light, especially with the whole Darth Maul.
And that's something we didn't talk about in the last one. When Anakin goes up and is all like, hey, giant beastie, you know, all quiet, like got his hands all like Crocodile Dundee mode.
Right.
And is able to ride him. They explain that in Star Wars Rebels. They kind of have a connection to living creatures and can bond, right? Mm-hmm. So, segue.
Yeah, that was like totally changed that experience. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And
now it makes sense now. You're like, yeah. Mm-hmm. So with this one, though, where were we?
We were a little bit of all over. We were talking about Palpatine and switching sides and...
But yeah, he's able to like really twist and make everything truthful.
We were talking about how silver tongue he is.
Yeah, and he's able to really kind of make you realize the truth of it all, and it's wild and it's scary to see.
I thought it was interesting with Anakin. What Yoda had originally said about the fear and the anger and the hate path concept. Anakin has this self-fulfilling prophecy. He sees that Padme is going to die. And yet you see this, every step that he takes in order to prevent it has just caused it. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the problem of being able to see the future. Yeah. Is if the reality...
You notice no one ever really helps him with him? No. He goes and he's saying that he
tells this to Yoda and Yoda's just like, that sucks for you.
See the future you are. Suck to be you.
Right? He totally... Here's a few moments where he's just like, suck it up and deal with it.
Right, so then it's the idea of is Yoda seeing the future and realizing that it's all doom and gloom?
That he can't do anything about it? Yeah.
Right?
So I don't know. It's just like, it's hard because, if he had made different choices, then, it led to this. But we were wondering, maybe the concept of who knows what kind of DNA that Anakin has, maybe her body couldn't handle the pregnancy, because I still don't understand as a human being how she had twins of that size in her the way she was. I'm sorry. That is not happening.
No, I fully think that's supposed to be the idea behind it, is that
something is weird.
Because I don't want to believe. Maybe I'm too cold and heartless, but the idea that she died of a broken heart, that seems too sappy.
Yeah. No, I think she died because he choked her and something broke on that and
sent her into labor.
Yeah, and sent her into labor. Maybe it stressed her out for the childbirth idea. Yeah. But I'm sorry, those things would have ripped her to pieces. There's no easy way of saying that. But those were full blown babies. There was not two of them inside of her. No way. Anyways.
But yeah, I liked how, Anakin gets so angry and you see it and you see the rage and all that.
You see the path and you easily see why he switches. Like, I don't blame the guy at all.
He's tumbling down there. Oh, where I was going to go. This was the hair thing.
Okay.
So you notice Obi-Wan in the first one, he's got like the shaved kind of head and little rat tail. And then he's got the long flowing locks. And then he's got like the traditional Obi-Wan comb over, right?
Yes.
In the third one. Well, then you look at Anakin, and when he's a Padawan, he's got the shaved rat tail in the second one, and then he's got the long flowing hair in the third one. I'm wondering, is that like stages of Jedi hair? Like you go from like, it's like you're just a baby, and then there's like the rebellious stage where you've got your locks and you're like, L'Oreal.
But how do you explain Qui-Gon then? Was he still rebellious?
He was still rebellious.
He was constantly going against the will of the council.
The council, yeah.
Interesting.
He was not on the council. Obi-Wan was on the council. Right? So...
Yeah, there's got to be symbolism, because honestly, this whole movie there's so much symbolism and allegory stuff
in it.
So much.
That I ever
So I think every detail is really planned. I don't think there was accidents on things, even if they're mundane and ridiculous.
Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Clickbait.
Yeah.
Watch the movie. You might find out that there's more to it than you really know there is. Couple rad finds 12 details in Star Wars Saga that you may have missed.
So Order 66.
Oh, okay. I made fun of this because this was the first time I actually thought it was lame. And I feel bad for saying that.
So you say you're weird, and then we'll talk about the sadness of it all. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm watching it, and then I had that realization that all Palpatine has to say to the clone troopers is execute Order 66, right? And I don't know if it's the execute word or if it's just Order 66, but like, think for a moment. Imagine, if you will, you're at a diner. Clones are happily eating, and all of a sudden there's the ding, ding, ding. Order 66. Order 66. I got your burger over here. Order 66. And the clones go wild. It could have happened at any point. They could have been...
The ruse is up.
They could have been at the DMV and be like, you know, number 66. Does it work for number 66? It could have been...
It has to be execute Order 66.
Is it execute Order?
Does it have to be from Palpatine, too?
But where is it? But that's what I want to know. Like, could they?
And his voice changes so much that they could not tell.
Right? He's like possessed by a demon.
Yeah.
Right? But that's what I want to know. I want to know, is it have to be execute Order 66 or just Order 66? Because they could have been getting pizza, they could have been getting hot dogs, anything. You'd be like, Order 66, Order 66, come get your food. And all the clones went wild.
Yep.
Everyone loses their minds.
Yep. Okay, so on a serious note, though, this was like super horrific and sad. When I saw this actually happen the first time, I was just absolutely mortified that these were supposed to be their, brothers in arms here, and all of a sudden they just mow them down, and it was just.
And it's not horrific. Like just one or two, like, oh, they're down. They go to town.
No,
with
they
their
just
blasters.
literally turn, and it's like all their energy is focused on them, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, that just happened.
Yeah. And it really affected Kiddo. He was pretty sad.
His face he just dropped. He was just like, I can't believe this is happening. And then when Anakin goes to the temple with all the younglings and everything, and he was like,
but they're kids.
He was so distraught, which it's a good thing to be distraught about that.
No. I'm not making fun of him for that.
No. I know you're not being distraught, but I mean, it was just overwhelmingly sad for sure.
Well, you see that emotion, and you see that he actually realized what was happening. It's like, oh my goodness, why would he do this?
I guess it's a good thing you see that, though, and you're like, okay, well, it is a decent story. There's a connection, at least, an understanding, so, it was, and then, okay, so I'm glad that on one point on Anakin, kudos for him for a moment, finding out Palpatine is Sith Lord, immediately turning around and telling Mace Windu, not being like, oh, okay, that explains it, right on, we're just going to roll with this now. He says that, but then, Mace, in rightfully doing so, says, you know what, you're too connected to this. You can't come. And Anakin just doesn't. He's
okay for a while, but then he's still caught up on the fact that Palpatine told him that he can bring back
Padme, right? And so he decides, well, no, I can't actually have him die.
Yeah,
and just like Mace said, you're too caught into this, and he shows up, and it's like, no,
ruins
you can't
everything.
do this, because now all of a sudden he goes unconscious, where Jedi aren't supposed to kill people.
Right?
Even though he's just killed people.
Yeah, like that's one of those moments too where I wish I wish Mace had even been able to recall, like, hey, yo, what about Dooku? Right? You killed him.
Right?
Like, you cut his hands off and lobbed off his head.
Yeah.
Where was your mercy
and you
there?
It was because he was too dangerous to stay alive.
Yeah.
So, it goes to show again, it's a personal judgment on something and a personal gain. And that's the problem that the Jedi are not supposed to be having to worry about, right?
It was really sad, though, to watch Mace lose his arm and get shot out the window.
It was so sad.
He didn't deserve to die like that.
No.
Maybe he's still alive out there.
Well, yeah, that's the hope, right? I mean,
he's all burnt.
If Anakin can fly through the streets of Coruscant and not hit anything, why can't Mace?
Yeah. Where's my Disney Plus Mace Windu Rules series?
Yeah.
I wanted to say that too. Mace Windu Rules.
Can it be with a Z?
On the hard streets of Coruscant, he lost his arm, got electrocuted, but he's on the run. Mace Windu Rules.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So
he's a detective by night and a street dancer by day.
Oh my goodness. So with that too, I mean, for Anakin, then it was like, okay, no, I've actually made this decision now.
Yeah, he shows the regret of it, right?
Yeah, and it's immediately like almost his like punishment is, okay, well, I can't be a Jedi anymore.
Yeah.
This is really the only path I have, and it's like, it's sad because then you realize that he never he never is a master. He never gets to
He's
achieve
always an
that rank.
apprentice. He's always a bridesmaid, never a
never
bride.
a bride, right? And Palpatine is just, when he fights though too, it still makes me laugh. It's hard.
It's
to be
very
serious.
comical. It's very comical because his face
is just like, dude, what is going on?
Even Kiddo was just like, what's going on with his face?
Like, right? There's a certain amount of like the weird kid attitude that he has, like that I can just do whatever I want.
He's like a pirate.
It's like there's no seriousness whatsoever. It's like, I can do what I want.
It shows how cocky he is.
Yeah.
Can I say that? Is that still safe for work?
Yeah. It's egotistical. How about that?
Okay.
How full of himself and how arrogant. There we go. And he complains about the Jedi being arrogant, and yet he is completely. So then the second best battle happens. Yoda and Palpatine two fighting. Yes. And that is fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome though, because Kiddo's sitting there. He's like, I wish everyone would come in and see this. See,
they were
he's
all
got
the
a
Senate,
red lightsaber.
And
then the moment after he says that, Palpatine jumps up and grabs a Senate seat and throws it at Yoda.
I know. I was like, dude, so you still wish this place was full of people? No. So what is your revelation there for the end of it, though?
Okay, so Yoda falls and his cloak falls off and he's on the ground and he sits there long enough to watch his cloak basically impaled on something, and I believe that there was his moment of seeing that his failure and he was no longer a Jedi.
Yeah.
Right, and he takes off.
Well, yeah, because he's like, I have to go into exile. I have failed.
Right. Yeah, and I'm gonna throw this revelation out there.
Where
this movie has had 3 people say they failed
and go into exile
and go into either change their side or go into exile. Anakin sees that he kills one of his Jedi brethren, says he fails and becomes a Sith. Yoda loses a battle, and says, "I'm out," and runs away. Obi-Wan at the end of the movie realizes that he has failed his training. Let's listen to that again. Obi-Wan realizes he failed training someone and goes into exile. Now, where have we seen that recently in Star Wars canon?
That people couldn't handle.
Luke fails his training of
Kylo.
Well, Ben Solo.
Yeah, sorry.
Because he goes into exile. And it's a double whammy because he was failed.
Solo becomes a Sith.
Works on his way to become a Sith, right? Yeah. So it's all reciprocal.
Yeah.
Right? They're showing that Jedi peace out at the moment that they fail.
Yep.
Their fatal flaw is they make one mistake that they think is irrefutably...
Yeah, they can't fix. And it's just like, I'm done. And I have to go and meditate on this, basically, and figure out till the time is right. Because that's what Yoda had said. We're going to stay into hiding until the time is right. Well, that's what Luke did. He stayed in hiding until the time was right that someone convinced him to come back out.
Yeah. And so it's interesting watching that and then rewatching these and seeing where they mirror each other.
Yeah.
And I'm curious.
They pull from those.
I'm curious once we get to Last Jedi again, after watching all of them again,
if we'll have a better...
different opinion or different feeling of it, because just seeing that moment in this movie and realizing that's the exact same thing that they made Luke do in Last Jedi made me almost appreciate Last Jedi more right in this moment.
Yeah.
Because it was like, that was their training. That is their fatal thing, is that they have failed in a moment and they peace out.
Well, what's interesting,
lightsaber drop and run.
It goes to show though that, Palpatine kept saying about their arrogance, and the Jedis are supposed to only think of others, not themselves. But their arrogance is then saying that they can solve everything and fix everything. And if they can't fix it, they are no longer a Jedi.
Yeah. That's
really heavy duty training. Like, that's a scary burden to have.
Yeah.
And, there's a certain amount of selflessness into that then. The concept that they can't help someone, then they are no longer worthy of that title. That's pretty impressive. But there's also a weird, the concept of giving up doesn't seem very courageous and brave and anything like that too. So it's, it's it's a flaw concept that they're not perfect as well. Right. And, there's definitely just that little while there, right there at the end, like some really big philosophical questions and thoughts there that I hadn't really appreciated from before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, which was pretty wild to see.
Yeah.
We got to see the giant Mustafar battle.
Yes.
Which is pretty awesome. I love it. It's ridiculous.
It's always been awesome, and I've always, the smaller and smaller areas for them to battle on too, and just
But we noticed one. So with that though, we really want to get the hot toy Anakin, the dark side Anakin, and the Obi-Wan from this movie.
Yeah, we need a battle.
Those two. So we might have to do some trades and head over to our favorite place, Toy Traders.
What can I trade?
What can I trade to get those toys? Because I really wanted those. Because because we have Kylo and Rey, and we have Luke.
Yeah.
Right. And I'd love to be able to have Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Return of Jedi.
Yeah, Return of Jedi Luke, and then get a Vader. And then have Kylo and Rey, and have those three era kind of. I think that would be really awesome to have as a dio, right?
You know what? So this battle here, that I'm because that was one of those moments I was telling you that Yoda was just like, figure it out and deal with it, because Obi-Wan's like, I can't fight him, like I can't do this. He's my brother. It's like, well, you know what? He's pretty much dead anyway because he switched sides. So you know what? Figure it out. Peace out. And I got my own stuff I got to deal with.
Yeah.
And so I'm proud of Obi-Wan that he does put up such a good battle. And at the very end there, though, he's like, don't do this. Like, don't put myself in this position because I have the high ground. And I love that he does not hesitate.
He just does
that Anakin jumps at him and he does not lose out on that high ground.
He just his arms and legs.
Chops him off, because I would not have been surprised if he had let him take the high ground and then continue the battle, but he does not question it. And it goes to show, though, that he is still.
He finally saw that he was done.
Yes, right? And he saw that Anakin had died.
Yeah.
And that's why from going on in the future, I always love that concept that they explained it, that Darth Vader killed Anakin, and I always thought it was weird, but you see that concept. In that.
Well, you even notice too that the way Obi-Wan, before he goes off, the way he says to Anakin, goodbye, my old friend. Yeah,
I had never really realized that. And when he says that, I'm like, wait a second, this is the last time that they see each other on friendly terms. And, because I had noticed before he'd always called him young Padawan or something of that nature, or my young apprentice. But he says, goodbye, old friend. And I'm like, something's different. I was like, this is the last time. And there was like a weird sense that something was going to change, you know? And I got all like kind of teary eyed and jerked up about it. Like, so. Yeah.
But then we noticed how cold Obi-Wan was.
Holy moly.
Because there Anakin is laying there, sliding into the lava.
And then he ignites on fire. And it was just like,
and he doesn't just go up and pop the saber in his head to get rid of his pain and suffering. He doesn't put him out of his misery. He just picks up Anakin's lightsaber and looks at him and says, see ya, homie.
You got yourself into this mess. Get yourself out.
And I understand maybe he's thinking that he's just going to continue to slide into lava or maybe burn up and die. But at the same time, he's sitting there writhing, screaming as Obi-Wan just walks away.
It was really cold.
And it actually kind of bothered me a little bit. It made me a little bit
squeamish.
Yeah, it kind of was like, damn, Obi-Wan.
He's fully engulfed in flames. Like, you know what? Either go up there and hit him with a lightsaber, or just force push him into the lava.
Lightly force push him into the lava.
And he would be done with. But it actually really bothered me that he just let him sit there and writhe in pain.
Yeah.
There was a certain amount of vengeance in there that was.
It showed too, there's on the Jedi side that Obi-Wan was dealing with his own pain and grief after seeing all those kids that Anakin had killed.
And there was a certain amount of punishment that he wanted inflicted.
Yeah. But then his arrogance...
And seeing what he had done to Padme, too, and all that.
But Obi-Wan's arrogance and thinking that was enough ended up destroying the galaxy.
Yep. You were so close.
Right? You failed twice.
Failed twice. So it just haunted him for the rest of his life. If I had just hit him one last time, we'd be different here.
Yeah. Things would have been a lot different.
Yeah. So, anyways, and then full circle back to the horrible childbirth and fake childbirth on that one.
What was funny was they had to add that little screen over her, because I guess the first showing the MPA was all like, whoa, it's too much. So they digitally put a screen over top of her.
That's so weird. Right? It's not like they had full show going on.
You saw a man burn.
Yeah, that was okay.
But seeing a robot remove a baby from an obscure angle that doesn't show any bits was way too much.
Because, I'm sorry, but if someone was going to question what was going on there, they were going to question it with the shield there or not.
Right.
And let's just be honest, we shouldn't be so, terrified of the concept of childbirth here.
It was space childbirth.
Space
we don't know what goes on in space.
We don't know what happens.
So what is your final thoughts on our
RADnesia? I still really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
It's still my favorite. It still has a lot of really awesome moments. And I found some new, deeper revelations into it and a new appreciation of actually, I feel more pumped up about this than I thought I would have.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've actually rewatched something and been like, yeah, this is totally awesome, know. And I think this is like a really welcome feeling.
It's good.
So
I concur to all you're saying.
Yeah, I'm amping up on my Star Wars excitement already.
Right? Because
which is cool.
We're gonna be watching all of them.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to be doing any of the TV
And Kiddo
series.
immediately went and listened to Star Wars music
grabbed his lightsaber, tried to battle me.
Immediately grabbed lightsabers, so he's in full Star Wars mode. So that is always a good sign. That means that he enjoyed it and is excited about it.
Exactly. We're not going to do the TV series just because we're focusing on the Skywalker saga. Because that's what the episodes are.
We're just
so we're not going to go back and watch Solo or Rogue One. We're going to stick.
We don't have time for it.
Solely to the episodes.
Yes.
As we lead up, which will be really fun. So how would you prequels?
Ranking of them?
Yeah, just the prequels.
Revenge of the Sith is still my favorite. I think they're just going to go backwards.
You liked Attack of the Space People to save the space wizards?
Of the space people. Honestly, because there's not as much. I think as irritated as I am with some of those parts, there's more that goes on and there's more story to it than Phantom Menace.
You just won't like her outfits and think she was awesome in the
maybe it's just the fashion. Yeah. I don't know.
Fashion. Put on your space boots.
Oh my god, that's amazing. I don't know. I guess it's kind of hard because I've never really been a huge fan of episode 2, but at the same time, like just watching them all together, I feel a little bit more excitement over it. As much as there's still irritation with it, I was, for lack of better words, a little bored with parts of episode 1. Okay. So, but I'm not as nearly as irritated as I had been in the past. So it's clearly Revenge of the Sith, and then the other two are kind of just there.
They got to duke it out.
Yeah. So what about you?
I would go 3, 1, 2.
That's what I figured it would be.
Now that which is hard to say because some of my favorite moments in 2 have Mace in it. But the Duel of the Fates is Duel of the Fates pushes it above.
So it's really Revenge of the Sith, Duel of the Fates.
And then Mace Windu.
And and then just everything else is just kind of there extra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's legitimate. I get that. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, this has been fun.
It has. Because we were talking about
Star Wars.
We're talking about Star Wars. Na.
Okay.
So there we have it. There has been our whole RADnesia of Star Wars prequels. Yeah.
So, next week kicks off
Halloween Horror Nights.
And it just starts.
We don't get to go to Horror Nights.
Yeah, so we have to make our own little versions of it.
Yep. I'm going to hide in places and jump out and scare you.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm going to make our own mazes in the house.
Well, because so we already bought Kiddo's costume, and we went to Spirit this weekend here, and I've decided, apparently I'm working on a Black Canary costume.
Yeah, that just happened out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was like, I found this bodysuit. Yeah, apparently that's what I'm going to do. So that's the current moment. Plan, and I'm gonna rope you into being Green Arrow. Apparently,
yeah. I don't know how that's gonna happen.
No, actually, you want your hair with your hair. You have decided you need to be Obi-Wan.
I need to be Obi-Wan right now.
So we'll be Goku and Obi-Wan and Black Canary,
and I'll just pop up every once and go, "Hello there."
I think that needs to happen. I think that the whole month, just make your costume now, and you can just be
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan the whole month.
I'll just walk everywhere and be like,
"Yep."
Hello there.
Yeah. That needs to happen now. So
one thing speaking about Star Wars and hello there, the prequel-y kind of like Disney Plus series that Obi-Wan's going to be into. I'm really going to be curious to see how that plays out.
I'm just excited to watch a Ewan McGregor show.
Because I'm curious.
He's still hot.
Apparently, my hair isn't nice enough. I'm curious to see how. Are they going to do any of the training that Yoda speaks at the end?
Yeah. The assignment that he has.
Is Liam Neeson going to show up as a Force ghost?
That would be super awesome.
Right? I know, like...
And then Obi-Wan can turn around and say, dude, why didn't you listen to me? Why did you push on this? Look what you have done.
right? Because that's what I'm curious to see.
In your face, yo.
Because we got to see Maul's end in Rebels.
Yes.
We got to see that epic samurai battle in Star Wars Rebels. You know, I loved how it was slow and not a lot happened, but it was epic.
It was beautiful. It makes me actually really want to watch that again.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we need to do a 4th Star Wars episode.
We do.
That's just like other Star Wars other.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do like a 20 questions of Star Wars because there's so much in them.
Well, yeah, we watched the different things.
Everything's. But yeah, so what we're going to do next month is we're going to do horror movies. We've planned out a whole bunch of spookiness.
Yeah.
Hopefully it all works out and we'll be coming at you with that. And then we'll roll back into some more Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Because we're getting ready for episode 9, which is pretty exciting.
So excited.
And there'll bound to be some other amazing things to talk to you guys about because that's what we do. We like to talk and we like to talk to you because we like to keep those ear holes happy.
Happy ear holes.
Yeah. Right? Hope we're filling that cup with Rad because next week is our 1-year anniversary.
Yes.
We've been around for a whole year.
Holy moly.
So we'll talk about that too next week.
Excellent.
So everyone stay rad.
Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening. Want more rad content? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review.
And remember, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes!